Okay. If I lose the plot here, I'll make no apologies. I love my daughter dearly, and this is a great day. See how we go. Firstly, I'd like to welcome you all here to Hamilton Island to help Courtney and Joel celebrate their wedding day. When I found out that the wedding was to be here on Hamilton Island, I thought, wow, that's a great idea, and it was. But even so, it's a long way to come up here. It's taken a big commitment by a lot of you people and a lot of effort to take time out of your lives to live here. I thank you all very much for doing that, and I know that you all being here will make this day one that Courtney and Joel will never forget. Thanks for coming. I consider myself to be a pretty lucky bloke in general. I've had more than my share of moments in my life that I thought, wow, how good's this? How lucky am I? But Courtney, when I had the pleasure of walking down the aisle today, that was one of the nicest moments of my life. I thank you for that. You look beautiful. You're a wonderful daughter. And you found a fantastic husband in Joel to spend the rest of your life with. Courtney caused me lots of dramas from the day she was born. On September 15, 1987, the lovely wife Donna was in hospital waiting for Courtney to arrive. Bit of blood pressure, stress. I was at home enjoying a bed to myself for a change. When in the middle of the night I got a call from the hospital saying Donna is in labour. I said, yeah, righto, I'll have a shower, something to eat and I'll head on up. The woman on the other end of the phone said, forget the shower, forget the feed, just bloody get up. So I jumped in the trusty old Magna, in 160 k's on the F6 going towards Wollongong. I had a camera on the seat that had no film in it. So I stopped at the All-Night Garage on Crown Street and bought myself a film. Flew to the hospital, jumped in a lift, pressed the wrong button, ended up getting out of the operating theatre. Complete darkness, didn't know where I was. By the time I found the maternity ward and got to the delivery room, Courtney's head was poking out. 1 minute later, I was Donna and I were the proud parents of a beautiful baby girl. Growing up, Courtney was a lot of fun. She adored her little brother Jake when he arrived. She was cheeky, she was confident, and she had a real sense of mischief about her. And we had many great times playing, mucking around together. I would usually stir her up a bit too much and she'd start bawling. I'd be in strife with Donna. And I think that's what the clever bugger had been from the start. I'll play with Dad for a while. When I'm sick of it, I'll chuck a tantrum, I'll get him in the shed. Mum will yell at him, give me a cuddle and a treat, and then we'll start the game all over again. That's pretty much how it happened for about 12 years. It was pretty obvious to me from a very young age that Courtney has a very strong will. She has never been afraid to speak her mind and offer her opinion, a trait she gets from her mum. She also has a very kind heart, a trait picked up from being all around the Tuckerman and the Jones families. And a love of animals, in particular dogs, is a trait she picked up from me, and one that unfortunately for you, Joel, I'm going to pay for a lot of years to come. We had many great holidays together with the Tucks and Joneses, Queensland, Fiji, and of course our annual summer holidays with our great mates, the Maccas. Courtney nearly didn't make it past about 4 years old. Paulie and I took her with us to play golf at Horizons up at Nelson Bay one day. While Paul and I were putting, Courtney decided she would see if she could drive a golf cart. Turns out she could, but steering and braking was a different story. Paul and I just managed to stop her from driving straight down the hill and into a dam. It was entirely Paul's fault. He was in charge.
Am I supposed to jump in now? Or
When Courtney reached about 15, a few boys started sniffing around our house a bit. Most of them saw me glaring at them and fled, never to be seen again. The ones that stayed and actually spoke to Donna and I were pretty good kids, but Courtney never really had a long-term boyfriend at school. Then one Saturday night, we were down at the Leagues Club having a lemon squash with Paul and Sandra. Courtney was working at the club and she introduced us to this very shy young lad named Joel, who also worked at the club. We'd heard talk of Courtney having found herself a young country lad, and now we've met him, albeit very briefly. He didn't hang around too long. That soon changed. They quickly became an item, and we soon had a new member in our family. And what a great addition to our family Joel is. He's a pure gentleman, well-mannered, respectful, and the way he treats Courtney and openly shows his affection towards her makes Donna and I very glad and happy to be coming into Courtney's life. Saw and Rosalie, you must be really proud of Joel. He's a credit to you guys. Well done. I got a text from Joel some time ago, a couple of years ago, asking me if I could meet him for a cup of coffee somewhere. Now, I'm no genius, but I didn't need to be Albert Einstein to know what this meeting was all about. I met Joel at Macca's at Cholesterol Corner. The next 15 minutes was pure pain and suffering for Joel, pure ecstasy for me. A very nervous Joel sat there fiddling with his spoon, stirring his coffee that much that it nearly curdled the milk. I think he added about 15 sugars in his coffee. He was talking complete dribble about the weather, traffic, interesting stuff like that. I sat there laughing inwardly at his discomfort. Finally he got it out. I'd like to ask you for permission to ask Courtney to marry him. Anyway, it was just another example of the type of guy Joel is. He even considered it the right thing to do to ask my dad as well. Donna and I have had the pleasure of getting to know Joel's family over the last couple of years, including a terrific 2-week holiday in Bali last year, with Phil, Rosalie, Luke and Ken, and Laura and Matt. Oh, sorry, who's right there? It's easy for Donna and I to realise why Joel is such a good guy. He comes from a lovely, close-knit family, and we look forward to many more good times together with him. There's a couple of people no longer with us who I know would be very proud and happy people if they were here today. Courtney's pop Bert, who passed away some 5 years ago. He adored his grandchildren, and I think his main purpose in life from when they were born until he passed away was, apart from making and drinking his own brew, spending time with Courtney and Jake. It did seem at times, Courtney, that Jake was Pop's favourite. But remember, Courtney, poor old Pop had gone through many years of being the only man in the house. And with Jake, he finally had a boy in his life. I can assure you that he adored you just as much as he did Jake. I can remember many times watching him with you, enjoying his granddaughter's company. He'd be very happy and a proud man today. Donna and I had the pleasure of meeting and getting to know Joel's Pop Alf after the last few years. Joel had a very unique and special relationship with his Pop. I have no intention of trying to explain that relationship, as what I know would barely scratch the surface. But I do know they shared something very rare. I also know if Alf was here, he would also be very proud and happy. Courtney and Joel, you've already started a happy and successful life together. You already have a lovely house, a completely mad but lovable dog, a blue-tongue lizard, and the world's oldest goldfish. Joel is forging a career for himself and doing fantastically well in that regard. I think Courtney's still to find her ultimate career path, and that's fine. But in the meantime, she's working hard and doing a great job to help pay the bills. You guys will have many great times in your lives together. You'll also face many challenging times when things don't go as they should and it all seems a little bit hard. If I could offer just one piece of advice, it would be this. Continue to be there for each other through both the good and challenging times. Ask for help when you need it. You will need help at times. Surround yourselves with good people. And remember, family and friends are everything. And you're both very lucky in that regard. Always remember the reasons you came to live together in the first place. My dad turned 80 years old a couple of weeks ago. We bought him an 80-year-old bottle of port for his birthday. Someone asked him at his 80th party, when was he going to open it? He said, I might open it when I get a great grandchild. I wouldn't mind a taste, so get busy, eh?
No pressure.
Thanks again, everyone. Have a great night. Eat, drink, dance and laugh. You will laugh because I'm going to dance tonight and you will laugh. On behalf of Courtney and I, Donna and I, we love you, Courtney and Joel. And thanks again to you both.
Well done, mate.
We've got another proud father here who wants to get up and say a few words, so front and centre, Philip.
Hello everybody. On behalf of Rose and yourself, I'd like to thank you all for coming, making this day to remember for Joel and Courtney. Also thank you to Michael for being MC. For those who don't know Michael and Claire's wife, we've been friends for over 35 years and have been part of our family since our children were born. With the birth of our first child, Joel, one of our three children, we've been blessed with. We spent many weeks in and out of hospital with Joel, living at Claire and Michael's place. They were very supportive to us and Joel, and we thank them very much for that. Joel may not have been able to get around in his early years, but his patience and determination and his ability to work things out got him to where he needed to be. And this has carried on through his school days and his work in life. Even though the first years of uni was a blur, he picked up his game and started working behind the bar instead of sitting in front of it. Thanks to Nan and Pop and Greg and Karen, who's also got him to start eating and studying a bit. Then he met Courtney and her lovely family, who also started giving foods. Baked dinners were the best ones I heard. So thanks to Donna and Mitch and all the extended family, excepting Joel in the family, both now and forever. Courtney, you look beautiful, but you always have a cardie somewhere. You haven't got one hidden. Courtney has got, I think, every cardie of the colour of the rainbow. And it's always hidden away somewhere. We go to barbecue, there's different coloured cardie out every afternoon. You've been part of our family now for some time, Court. And you've been there for Joel and us through thick and thin, especially when we lost Mum and Dad. We've even gone on some wonderful holidays together, caravanning and overseas. Whitewater rafting, bit of water skiing. But when I remember the look on the excitement on your face, you were speechless and you got to pat the white tiger cub in your arm. It was a moment to treasure. Rosalie and myself, Luke and Laura would like to officially welcome you to the family, even though you've been with us for quite a while. For Joel and Courtney, there'll be lots of crying, laughter and some disagreements over married life. But as long as you both talk to each other and always say I love you before you go to bed each night, then I'm sure you will be happy for many years to come. So to both of you, we wish you all the best, with much love and happiness and joy for the rest of your life.
Thanks, Phil. That was time now for a bit of a female perspective on Courtney. So I'll call
I think
up
it's me.
Megan and Jay to pass on some interesting stories that have made out.
For those of you who don't know me, my name's Kate, and I've known Courtney for about 21 years. Courtney's one of my oldest and dearest friends, and when Courtney asked me to do a speech tonight, I was very honoured, and she actually said to me, "Be nice. I still want everyone to like me afterwards." So I thought, what can I say? What dirt and goss do I have on Courtney Jones? And I'm very sorry to say, but there's nothing. Not one thing. I've known Courtney for almost 21 years and she hasn't changed a bit. Courtney has always been the genuine, loyal and honest person that you can see sitting here tonight. She has actually a lot of times taken things to heart very easily, And when I first met Courtney, which was orientation for primary school, I can still remember thinking, wow, she has a fringe. I like her. Courtney had a fringe throughout our whole primary school life. It was to here, it was thick, it was brown, and I loved it. It had thin hair and it sucked. When we were in year 3, we realised how close we lived to each other. 41 houses to be exact. I counted on the way to the airport. And we would meet up and ride our bikes to school, and on the weekends we would ride down the lake. We were, without a doubt, the coolest kids. Courtney had an awesome nickname, which was CJ, her initials. And we would, down the lake, stand in the payphone phone booth and prank calls. So, we were only 10 metres from the shops, and we would prank call the shops. They had their phone numbers on the signs out the front. And one of the funniest days in our lives, and I will never ever forget, the Cutting Connections hairdresser. We'd made about 10 phone calls to her shop, and every time we were standing there and we could see her take her gloves off from dyeing a lady's hair, answer the phone, and hear all us girls giggling. She has come flying out of the hairdressers. We've got on our bikes, taken off down the alleyway, and we just ran as far as we could get away from her, and we thought, shit, she knows our mums. We're going to give her. When Jake was about 7, my sister was the same age. And they started wanting to come for rides with us on the weekend. Thanks for that, Jake. So Courtney and I devised a plan. Sweet, we'll set them up to get married and we'll become sisters. Then came a point in our lives when we stopped riding on the weekends. And this was the creation of the Spice Girls. We were their unofficial backups. Every day before school, at lunchtimes during school, after school and on the weekends, we would rehearse the lyrics, the dance moves and eventually the movie scenes in hope that Sporty Spice, me, or Posh Spice, Courtney, would get sick and we'd get the call to say, hey, you guys are being picked up to tour on Ever. Poor Donna and Mitchell, all this rehearsing was done on their back deck because it was more realistic as a stage for us, so we needed to make sure we had the right spacing, so that was done at their place. If Courtney and I weren't hanging out, we used to write letters to each other. So bear in mind we live 41 houses away. I'd write to her, ride to her house, come home and wait. Courtney would reply, ride to mine, and I'd watch her from the window, deliver the letter. Then I'd run out and read the letter, and then I'd reply and ride to hers and wave to her in the front window, and then I'd say, I'm going off, right back to me. And then the process would start all over again. Courtney and I went through a lot in primary, our lover sessions, our first boyfriends, first kisses, and first bras when our boobs arrived before everybody else. Thank you. But nothing compared to the challenges of high school. For whatever reason, our group divided and Courtney and I ended up the targets of a lot of shit. I remember the upset phone calls from Courtney and the tears at lunchtimes, which meant I had to fight. I couldn't understand. Why Courtney? I mean, I was a bitch, so that explained why they picked on me. But I couldn't understand why they picked on Courtney. And then I realised she was an easy target because she was a good girl, a nice and honest girl, and someone who took things to heart. Every day I'd console her, and I remember thinking, I'll defriend CJ till the end, except it wasn't allowed to call that because it wasn't cool in high school, so it was just back to Courtney. We've been through so much. Primary school, high school, makeups, breakups, creation, and devastating breakup of the Spice Girls. We cried today. But the most heartbreaking moment for us was the loss of our third member of our trio, which was our baby Spice, Jamie, who tragically passed away while we were in high school. The moment we found out, we were together and in absolute shock. And I remember holding Courtney and just crying and crying. And I know that she would love to be here today, and I believe she is. In the last few years of our grown-up life, we've been there for each other for pretty much every major event. Buying houses, getting engaged, and today each other's weddings. I actually went with Joel to pick out Courtney's engagement ring. I remember getting the text message saying, hey, I'd really like to go and buy an engagement ring. And I didn't have Joel's number, so I had no idea. And I was like, oh yeah, cool, where should we meet? And he's like, oh, this is Joel. I was like, thank you. And in true Courtney fashion, she managed to ruin that because she didn't go to work. So Joel and I had to cancel our date of getting the rings. I was so excited when he asked me, very honoured, and we bought her ring, and Joel was telling me all his plans that he had to propose to Courtney. And then one day I get a phone call from Courtney saying, Jade, what's going on? And I said, what do you mean? I don't know what's going on. And she said, well, I got a call from my dad saying, don't listen to the voicemail from Pop. So I listened to the voicemail, and Pop said, congratulations, we're so happy and proud of you both, and no one will tell me what's going on. Not Joel, nor my parents, so you tell me. So of course I played dumb, frantically called Joel and went, shit, she knows. So Joel and I hatched a plan back and forth about maybe it's a misunderstanding about purchasing a house. A few days later, I get an SMS from Courtney. You bitch, you knew. And you didn't tell me. I played dumb again, not knowing that he would change his plans, and I said, I don't know anything, what's going on? She said, Joel proposed, why didn't you tell me? And I said, why would I ruin one of the most amazing moments in a woman's life? So as I leave it here today, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you all to raise a glass. I would like you all to toast. I just spilt mine. My beautiful, dearest and oldest friend, Courtney. May the rest of your lives be filled of love, happiness and me.